Hi, welcome to week 9 of English 114. We're going to switch directions this week and get away from the business letters. We've had lots of practice with those, and don't worry, we will come back to those. But we're going to be working on memos this week. You're going to prepare 2 memos that have to do with your career research. In preparation for this week and next week, if you will just review or preview, if you haven't looked at it yet, chapter 16 in our textbook, because that deals with job interviews, job letters, and that sort of thing. And we'll focus more on the job interview and the letters that go with that next week. But this week, our effort is going to be put into researching your career that you're interested in. So I have provided a live link in the assignment where you can go to the Job Outlook online manual, and you can look at your career and you can find what you need for the assignment there. I have also provided a sample memo that would be formatted the way that I would want yours to be formatted. So feel free to copy my format if you would like to. And also feel free to cut and paste from the Job Outlook website to answer the questions under the headings that you'll set up. However, if you do copy and paste, make sure you put the material in quotation marks so I will realize that that's what you've done and not typed it yourself. And also be sure in your introductory summary, as I show you in the example that I provide, that you mention where you got the information from. That way we're not plagiarizing. Everybody knows where the information's coming from, and because you're using quotation marks, everybody realizes that you have copied and pasted that material. So that will be an interesting task for you to do, to look at your career and see the different possibilities. I've had students tell me in the past that I didn't realize that there were so many varieties of things I could do in this career. So I hope you enjoy doing that and putting together that memo. And as I said, there is a sample that you feel free to copy my format, but you need to get all those questions answered that the assignment asks you for. The second part of the assignment this week is going to be for you to actually look for jobs in your career area that you researched. Now, they don't have to be local jobs. They don't have to be even in North Carolina. They can be anywhere in the world if you find a job that you're interested in. And there are various questions that you need to provide in your memo about those jobs. I would suggest just putting the 3 jobs in one memo, so that's all you have to submit. I'll fix the link so that you can put the both of the memos to load them both in for the assignment this week. If you heard that barking, that's my Betty Boop letting me know, that reminding me that she's still down there and I'm ignoring her right now. So that's what we're going to be looking at this week. Keep in mind as you explore your career, and keep in mind also as you are actually actively working towards a degree for your career, that you may not go the straight and narrow path to a career. I certainly didn't. I took a very varied path to my teaching career. I started out wanting to teach. In fact, I think I've always wanted to teach. I used to teach my stuffed animals and dolls when I was just a little girl. And I studied all through school and all through high school as if I were the teacher and I also were the student, and so I would talk to myself and teach the material to myself, because they say once you talk through it yourself and once you can teach it to someone else, it shows that you really understand it. So I would ask myself questions and then I would answer my questions, and no, I wasn't a multiple personality. It was just the way I studied. I really wanted to go into teaching, and I did major in education at UNC Chapel Hill. And I did actually do student teaching. I got my passed the National Teachers Exam, and I got my a license to teach. And then I didn't do it. I just ended up not doing it. I took other choices. Now, if I could have stayed in Chapel Hill and gotten a job there, I probably would have taught, but I could not do that. So I ended up working for the Employment Security Commission, and it was actually a better pay than it would have if I had gone into teaching. Then I got married and moved back to Chapel Hill because my husband was in law school, and I went to work for the university in Chapel Hill, and I worked in the undergraduate admissions office. And then when he graduated and we left there and moved back here to Rocky Mount, I worked for a plumbing supply company. And after I worked there, I had a child while I worked there. And then later, after I left there, I went to work at Wesleyan College in their admissions office, and I worked there for a couple of years. I had another child while I was working there, and then my then husband asked me if I would come to work for his law office. And so for 10.5 years, I worked in his law office. What was supposed to be a part-time temporary job turned into a 10.5 year job, working 60+ hours a week sometimes. And but I learned so much there, and I learned so much about the business world, and I think that ultimately it gave me a much better background for teaching English 111 and English 114, but it gave me a really good understanding of the workplace. So I have an interesting perspective there. I didn't go straight into the classroom, and I've always been here. I took the windy route to my career. But also, I did find that I did, wherever I was working, I always was the one that they would call on to teach people. Can you show somebody how to do this? Can you, you seem to be able to explain things well to people. Can you show her how to do this? And so I guess even though I didn't technically call myself a teacher, I think I have always been a teacher since I was a little girl. And certainly now, teaching adults at a community college, I feel like this is my very special place. Another thing that led to my better understanding of being a community college teacher is I went back to school at 43 and got my master's degree. And so I kind of understand people who've been out of school for a while and go back and try to tackle school and family and job and everything all at once. I think it makes me much more compassionate and empathetic. So keep that in mind as you go through life and you learn to do various jobs, that maybe it's all part of the ultimate career that you'll actually have. And look at it all as a learning experience. I think if you look at it that way, what am I learning from this? That will be very good material for you to use in whatever job you finally end up in. So have a good week and enjoy your assignments this week.